You never know who you're going to see.
Be one guy one-on-one my whole career.
What you're going to hear.
We got a lot of desperate people in the city.
Or what they've got to say.
When you can take people inside of a crime.
That's what you're going to hear on my podcast, Open Mic. Find it where you find your podcasts. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Open Mic. With the stress and suffering of the COVID-19 pandemic, we all could use a little humor to ease our fear and anxiety. And our next guest, Jason Douglas, is doing just that with Pay It Forward Comedy, a virtual comedy show with national headline acts donating their time and talent to raise money for small businesses that have partially or completely closed down because of the pandemic. So I definitely read about this. I wanted to have Jason on the show to ask him all kinds of questions about this amazing idea. So let's welcome Jason Douglas to Open Mic.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Like, what a great idea. I mean, there's so much stuff about how we can help small businesses. Tell me how you came up with this idea.
Well, I'm a stand-up comedian, and I also book comedians. So I have all these venues across the country that I help book shows for, and they were either completely closed down or partially. And I thought, well, I have a Zoom account, and I know a ton of great comedians. So what if we did a virtual show and people could log on from their houses, maybe grab some takeout from the restaurant, and all the money could go to the venues.
What a great idea. So you have some comedians who have already have big parts on shows like Seinfeld and Breaking Bad. I mean, tell us who they are and you know, how hard was it to get them to do this?
Well, the best part is it wasn't hard at all. Every single comedian I called was like, totally, you tell me when, you give me the Zoom link. Steve Heitner is the big one. He was Kenny Banya on Seinfeld. And Stephen Michael Quesada, he was on Breaking Bad for 5 seasons.
Which one was he? Who did he play?
He was Hank's partner, Agent Gomez.
Oh, sure.
And they died out in the desert in the second to last episode. So he almost made it completely through the show.
So he's a comedian?
Yeah, he was a comedian before the show. And he's got a great story. He got picked to be Hank's partner because he was shorter than Hank. And the guy who plays Hank is not very big, but the character was meant to be a big man.
Interesting. So when are these comedy shows? How can people watch and listen?
So we made a Facebook page called facebook.com/payitforwardcomedy, and you can log on there and see the schedule. So our next show coming up March 12th, and that's going to benefit a venue in Pennsylvania. And if any venues in Michigan see this, because we're both Metro Detroit guys, if they want to jump on board, I would love to do a show for anybody who can use a little help, because all the money that's raised goes directly to the venue.
So I didn't know you were a Metro Detroit guy. I have lots of restaurant friends, so I love this idea. So so first of all, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Saginaw and came down to Metro Detroit around 18 or 19 and been here ever since.
And you're here now?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to talk because I think this is a great idea. So how does it work? So you're doing this on Facebook or people can log in, but let's say we pick a great restaurant. Walk me through this.
Yeah. So I have a Zoom account and I set up a Zoom, what you call a Zoom meeting, but it's really just a Zoom event. And the people, I set up the Zoom event, I give it to the bar or restaurant, and I say, sell or donate, have people give you donations for the comedy show. So there's no real price on it. So if you want to give them $20 to see the show for your family, cool. You can only afford $5. I've had people donate like $300 to a venue. So we're kind of on the honor system, and the donation goes directly to the venue. So I'm not like responsible for taking in the money and then giving it out. So say Joe's Bar wants to do a comedy show on Zoom, they just post it on their Facebook. People make a donation to them through PayPal. They send them the link, and then the people show up. They click the Zoom link and on the date and time, usually have 4 or 5 comedians.
I love it. So you haven't done one yet in Michigan?
We have done one in Michigan at a bar in northern Michigan, and they co-did the show with a venue down in Illinois. And we had about 60 or 70 people log on. We raised about $800 for them.
It's great.
So yeah, every little bit helps. I'm not David Portnoy. I can't do the Barstool Fund, but that was kind of the what made me think about it.
Yeah, what he's doing is amazing. Especially, and he's been all over Michigan lately, which I love to hear. I'd love to see. Right? I mean, it's been fabulous.
Yeah, he was kind of the inspiration for. I was like, wow, David Portnoy can do this. I can't do it on that level, but what resources do I have?
I used to love going to comedy shows back in the day, and there's nothing better than that energy. And, I think and tell me, and I've never even thought about this until this second, but I'm going to ask you, I know that when I'm in the comedy clubs, I'm laughing my ass off the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when I watch a comedy show on HBO, I laugh once in a while, but it's not as engaging. I don't know the right word. So how is it? How are you finding it translating on your Zoom links? Like, how does the audience interact, and do the comedians? I assume you guys get to feed off of the audience when you're in a comedy club. It's got to be a ton different on a Zoom call.
Yeah, and the thing with comedy, which COVID is terrible for, is that at a comedy club you're packed in like sardines. And I think when you're packed in with people and they're laughing and it makes you laugh, and it's like this laughter breeds laughter thing, where TV, you're sitting home, maybe you're by yourself, you're with one person, and it's not the same environment. For Zoom, it's somewhere in between because it's live. The comedians do interact just like we're interacting now. So they can be like, oh, hey, we got Mike here. Mike, what do you do? And then they start riffing off you. And so there is that element of the live show.
Well, let's try it. I'm going to put you on the spot. Let me hear one of your give me a little something.
Well, let's see here. So we're going to let's stay a little cleaner. We'll do like the first set.
My audience is dirty, so I don't know.
Your audience is dirty?
I have no idea. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'll tell you this. I recently stopped Ubering because it's too expensive. So now when I go to a bar and have a few drinks, I drink at a bar right next to a Domino's pizza, and I order a pizza, and then I ride home with the delivery guy.
That's cute.
And I'm working it. It's early.
Yeah, it is early. I mean, I don't know how much coffee you've had. That's great. So I'm sure. I mean, so how many shows have you guys done?
We've done 6 shows for the Pay It Forward comedy show. Yeah.
And what's the reaction from the restaurants? I mean, that you're getting?
They're all super grateful and happy. And I guess at the end of the day, we all just need a laugh. Everything's so stressful, and we, especially during the politics season was just coming to an end as we started this, and people, I think, were just exhausted. And
those couple of the headliners that you mentioned, I mean, would they come and do? Are they up for it? Whenever, or
Yeah, I mean, they're. Steven is doing a TV show in New Orleans right now, but he has popped on shows at night when he filmed during the day. So they're all really cool about. They started in the club, so they know that the venues are how we as comedians actually make our living. So, and they're just cool guys.
How many of the jokes are about the pandemic and COVID? What percentage is that occupying the set list?
Oh yeah, I would say every comedian should have at least 5 new minutes of really good COVID material. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I even saved my quarters because remember we had the pandemic, so I was afraid I wasn't going to get a cart at Aldi's.
Oh. Do they charge for carts at Aldi's?
Oh, yeah, you rent the cart at Aldi's. You put the quarter in.
Are you kidding me?
No, it makes people bring it back, supposedly.
I've never been to an Aldi's.
We'll go.
Now I know to bring my quarter if I go to Aldi's.
Oh, yeah. You don't have a quarter at Aldi's. You can't even do the experience.
Is it you like that store? Is that a good store?
I'm not going to give a plug for Aldi's, but they're not bad.
That's funny. So tell me about your comedic life. I mean, what was before COVID? Unfortunately, you and I just meeting. I don't know if I've seen you on the Tonight Show or anything.
You and I have a unique background. You and I communicated one time, and I speak your praises because I have tried to mold myself after your business with comedy booking. So you are a great advertiser. You're a person that you connect with in the commercials. And I do a ton of advertising. So I'm a comedian. About 2004, I started a comedian booking company nationally. And it's just about nonstop advertising across the country. And now because of Google searches, my company pulls up. We book shows in England. We book shows in Australia, Israel, India. And that being said, I emailed you one time, maybe 5 years ago, and I asked you for some tips on internet marketing. And you put me in touch with people. And I thought that was the nicest thing.
Well, it's my pleasure. I hope those people helped you.
Yeah, they did.
You know, I'm in the business of helping people. So, I mean, that's, you know, I try to respond to most emails, and I'm glad, Jason, that I didn't ignore yours and just send you to the spam folder.
Yeah, it would have been a fun conversation right now. I've been like, I emailed you and you never responded.
That would have been better. We could just go with that I was just a jerk and I just said, don't bother me.
Yes.
No, I did not. So, so you're booking a lot. Are you still doing stand-up, or is that in the past?
Yeah, I still do stand-up. I mean, that's my first love, but the booking is sort of like the day job. And then the comedy is like what I do for passion or at night. And the Zoom shows really took off. That was kind of also why I thought Zoom comedy would be successful, because like last March, everything went crazy, right? The whole country shut down. All the bookings for April, May were just completely done. And then I had an email from a customer and he was like, I want to do comedy with a Zoom show. And I was like, well, that'll never work, but whatever. I didn't even know what to charge. So it was March. I just charged him a 72 count of Charmin Ultra. It was a toilet paper shortage. But no, the show went well. And then we booked like over 1,000 shows in 2020 virtually.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's fabulous. So, you know, before COVID, I mean, there's been a lot of comedy shows on Netflix. Tell me, like, and I watched some of them, but again, I don't know. I love comedians. I love comedy shows. It's just sitting there watching it in my living room. It doesn't overly do it for me, but I assume Netflix, you know, when they're putting the Kevin Harts and you know, all the great comedians on there, I assume it's been a boon for comedians.
Yeah, not me. I don't have a Netflix special, but
not yet.
I know. I mean, we're definitely blessed in Michigan to have the Comedy Castle, because that's like one of the best clubs in the country.
Is it?
Oh, it's always voted. It was in USA Today, a top 10 comedy club.
Wow.
It's just one of the greatest, like old school, real comedy clubs. One of the last, you know, remaining clubs, and they're successful. But I do think television comedy helps to a certain degree. To people go, oh, well, that was funny. Let's go see that live. And then when they see it live, it's way better.
So I've been to that, though. It's in Royal Oak.
Yeah.
And I've been there, you know, a dozen times, and that's the one I was referring to. And I love it that they went smoke free for the most part, you know, several years ago, because back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, you literally walk out of there smelling like a ashtray. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that they've been closed since March. They're not back open, are they?
They just reopened, and I don't talk to them every day, but they just reopened within the last, when the governor went to the 25% restrictions and allowed venues to open. So I think in February, was it?
Have you performed there?
Oh yeah, over the years, sure, yeah.
Well, let me know next time you're down there. I'll come heckle you.
Yeah, I'll email you, because I know you check them. So.
And that's true. And you like being heckled by the audience?
Yes and no. I think the most people that heckle are doing it because they want to have fun. Like the mean hecklers, it's not so much. You just have to kind of shut them down real quick.
I saw Don Rickles in Vegas.
Wow.
10 years ago, 15 years ago. Boy, was he funny with the hecklers and just ripping on people. And he just went after them. He heckled them, really. I mean, there weren't really many It was just such brilliant comedy. I'll never forget it. I mean, going after people, but that's
what you want. You want Rickles to go after you. I mean, it's like a badge of honor.
It is a badge of honor, and he was amazing. But I love it when a good comedian can it's just the comebacks, and I know you guys have practiced them a million times because you've been heckled a million times,
Yeah.
but it looks natural, and it's heckling the smart right way, other than what like Michael Richards did how many years ago when he just
he just had a meltdown or something.
he had a meltdown on stage, which basically ended his career, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I work with Brad Garrett sometimes, who was Everybody Loves Raymond. He was the brother.
He was just in some major Super Bowl commercials.
Yes, he was. He's in the Jimmy John's commercial.
I thought, what do you think of those?
I think he's very funny in those commercials.
What did you do with him?
I opened for him once at the Whiting up in Flint, and then I did a couple other shows with him. And he has a venue. He has his own club out in Las Vegas. I think it's in the MGM.
I don't think I knew that. Is he a good dude?
Oh, super nice, super funny. But he's like Rickles in a way. Like you can just walk him out on stage and say, don't do any material. And he's got the crowd laughing and for an hour, and he hasn't even really done a setup and punchline. He's just riffing off the audience.
That I didn't know. I haven't been to Vegas in a while, but I will definitely go check him out. So your company is called The Comedian Company. If people want to find you and book a comedian, and you're still booking right now for events and corporate events and private parties, I assume, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. If they want to book a comedian for any kind of event, or if one of your venues here in Metro Detroit wants to do a Pay It Forward show, have them email me through there and we'll get it set up.
So if anybody's listening or watching and you have a restaurant that's struggling, Jason's offering this service with some big name people, which I think that's exciting. I mean, Breaking Bad, he was that was my favorite show of all time. I ranked that number one. I've actually watched it twice now.
And these guys do a Q&A after too. So we're like pretty easy going about it. I'll be like, when the show's over, because I host them, and I'll be like, hey, does anybody have some questions for the guys or the gals on the show? And they'll talk about anything.
I love it. Are you a Breaking Bad fan?
Oh, I loved Breaking Bad. In fact, I almost bought when they started to sell off parts of the set. There was a celebrity website you can buy things from every set from a TV show, and I jokingly tell Steven I almost bought his khaki pants.
No kidding.
They were like, I bid like $130 on these khaki pants, and I was gonna frame them, and then they went to like $1,000, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend that much. So
I'm gonna up you. I'm gonna up you one. I was in Los Angeles. This has got to be 5 years ago, and I was on. It was either the MGM or the Sony set. Whoever did Breaking Bad, and I'm literally lost. I walked out of a meeting I had, and I turned the corner the wrong way, and in the middle of in a cul-de-sac-y little area on the lots in the MGM business structure place, which is multiple buildings. I walked up and I stumbled upon the RV.
No.
And I actually could probably pull up pictures right now. And I'm like, holy shit, that is the Breaking Bad RV. And I walked up close, dude. The bullet holes, the 3 bullet holes were in it. I put this finger, I haven't washed it since. This finger went in those holes. That sounds really dirty.
Yeah, weren't they actually the door? Wasn't that the first episode? No, it wasn't the first episode. It was
not the first episode, but
that is, yes, that's definitely you in the RV.
That's me in the RV.
Nice.
You can see the bullet holes behind me, right?
Actually, let me see here if I can see. I can't quite see the bullet holes.
Right. So I can see the bullet holes. I can see the bullet holes. There's actually 5. So then I was inside for a meeting.
So you're on MGM's property.
Yeah, I had a meeting, and they have a case inside that has all the Breaking Bad stuff, and it has the badges, and that's Walter White's high school badge. That's the license plate and one of their Emmys.
I love it.
So I'm obviously a major fan, as you are.
Yes.
Major geek. Watching Better Call Saul now. Are you watching that show?
Oh, yes. I love it. Well, you probably like it. You know, he's the attorney, right?
Dude, from the second he came onto the show, I thought, I didn't say he's going to have his own show one day, but I said, this is one of the greatest characters I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is just funny regardless. And then
And he's
he
a
does that.
stand-up guy, right? He was a
Yes.
stand-up comedian.
I think, well, yes, he's stand-up and improv. Yeah, he's great.
That I'm not sure, but I remember him on the Larry David show. Um, Unbelievable actor and
Yeah.
one of my favorite shows. And Breaking Bad, if you haven't watched it twice, the first time I watched it season to season with a year and a half between seasons, and then I watched it a second time all the way through without a break.
Yeah.
And it made so much more sense to me. It didn't, when you have a year and a half, the characters got a little confusing. And in that particular show, it did in Breaking Bad. They with all the Salamancas and the people killing each other and all that stuff, that I needed to see it again. And I absolutely loved it a second time, but I'm not sure why we're talking about Breaking Bad right now, but
there's never a bad time to talk about Breaking Bad.
I agree. And I'm glad that you were a fan, and I'm glad I got to show my picture. It's in front of the RV.
That's a great story.
But dude, when I tell you I just stumbled on the car, it wasn't I thought it should be in a museum. It was outside. It was getting rained on.
Yeah.
It was, if they had snow, it would get ruined. It was it was a lot. It was like stored. It was like, it wasn't.
Was the El Camino there?
I did not see the El Camino. I saw nothing else except for the pictures I just showed you. But I was very happy to see it. It's not like you'd think there'd be a rope around it. I think I probably checked the door to see if I could go inside of
you
it.
got to.
But it was locked. It was locked. But it was like, there was no cameras around. There was no people around. I looked around me. I'm taking pictures. It was you wonder where that stuff goes to die. I'm surprised the guys didn't want to take it home with them, put it in their driveways.
Yeah, somebody could. I'm surprised they didn't sell it off at some charity auction for like $100,000 or something.
Dude, we would have paid for it, right?
Somebody would have paid for it.
Brought it to Michigan. We could have split it between Saginaw and Detroit.
Yeah.
We could have shared it, driven it back and forth.
I don't know
on the road. What? Yeah. You could do a comedy show on the roof of it.
We had to get AAA though, because I don't know if it would have made it from Saginaw to Metro Detroit.
It's true. That's very true. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun, Jason.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
I hope people tune in. I'm going to subscribe to your Facebook page right when we get off. I'm going to put a link. Cool. I'll send you a copy of this and put it on your Facebook, and so we can get more
just
publicity.
Real quickly. You know who else is on these shows? A guy you've had on your show, Darren Mccarty, who I got Darren into comedy.
Is he funny?
He's great. The Darren Mccarty Slapstick Comedy Tour.
Wow. He didn't tell me any jokes. I think he was pretty high when he was here, but no.
Yeah, he's always high. I mean, that's his thing.
We had a really fun time.
Yeah, he may come on the Michigan ones because I've talked to him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, when they're in Michigan, let me know," because he actually has a really good act. He's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it hockey related, marijuana related?
Oh, a little of both, but a lot of hockey stories. Yeah. He's got some good jokes. So
I'm going to really think about this, and I'd love to have him on. I'd love to have the Breaking Bad guys on and the other people you mentioned.
Yeah. Any of the guys would love to come on. They're so easy to work with.
I'll help you promote it. I'll help get people there, and we just got to find a word. Well, let's find a worthy restaurant or two. So maybe
we can find a few and join them up too, because that's the thing. Like, because my Zoom package is for 500 guests, so we can do like 3 venues, and they each keep their own money. And whoever wants to do it, I never turn anyone away. Even if they book comedians from another company, I say you are welcome here.
What a nice guy you are.
I try.
Thanks for being on Open Mic, Jason. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you, man.
All right, there you have it. That was fun. I hope you guys like to see my family pictures out of my phone. Jason Douglas from Pay It Forward Comedy. We'll have the links below the show notes. Forward this to anybody who likes to laugh, anybody has an idea for a restaurant to get it to Jason so he could do a show. If you have any ideas of restaurants and you want me to be involved, email me, comment, send me a note, and I'd love to be involved. I think this is a great idea. So I thank him for being on the show. Please subscribe to our podcast. Tell all your friends about us. We're nearing 3 million downloads and listens, which is so much fun. We're coming up to our 100th episode, which we have some special stuff that we will be doing. And as always, we appreciate you watching, and take care.